Hey there everybody, this is Jandor bringing you a new series that I'm calling Learnin the Ropes. This is going to be a series about me learning games, in this case such as Dota 2 and potentially other games in the future, League of Legends, maybe StarCraft, whatever. Games that I'm not all that good at, but I'm not terrible at, sort of have a basic grip on, but I'm looking to improve quite a bit. And I wanted to go ahead and start things off with some Dota 2 videos, because Dota 2 is sort of my current, I guess you could call it obsession, is probably the best way to to call it. This is going to be a video of a game I played the other day, in which I ended up playing Juggernaut, who's a hero I actually really rather like. I hadn't quite gotten a grip on him, but I feel like I really sort of was on point this game. Made a lot of good plays, and I kind of wanted to review it to get a sense of sort of what I did right, what I could have done better, how the team did as a whole. But mostly we're going to be focused on myself. This is a captain's draft game. For those of you out there who aren't familiar with the captain's draft setup,
Dyer's ban.
the basic way this works is each team gets to pick a captain. The captain go back and forth, banning out
Dyer's
heroes.
ban.
And let me see about turning this down a little bit so that we're not
Radiant's ban.
too loud here. Okay. So the captains go back and forth, and they pick each two bans, so two heroes out of a limited pool. So there's a very limited pool of heroes, which you can kind of see here on the left, to choose from. You ban out two of them, and then you go back and forth picking. We were
Dyer's
on
pick.
the Radiant side, I believe.
Radiant's pick.
Sniper.
Or
Weaver.
no, we were the Dire side.
Dyer's pick.
So we had a Bounty Hunter, Crystal Maiden, Phantom Assassin. That's right.
Radiant's pick.
We actually went through this pretty fast, all things considered. I'll go ahead and speed it up a little bit because you guys will get the point pretty quick. There was some deliberation after the initial sort of flurry of picks. They
Radiant's
went with an
pick.
Alchemist, and they went with
Dyer's
Dying. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the draft, because so at this point we've got Bounty Hunter, Crystal Maiden, Phantom Assassin, and I'm not like the best at drafting by any means, or I don't know all the strategies. It's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, and in the hopes that collectively we can get a sense of what how this game,
Dyer's pick.
all the things there are to learn in this game, because there's a lot. It's really cool in that way. But with a Bounty Hunter, my initial thought is that you can put the Bounty Hunter in the off lane.
Radiant's pick.
Because he can do pretty good by himself, because he can turn invisible. And really what Bounty Hunter wants to do is rush to level 6 and start moving around tracking and killing people for gold and getting money. We have a Crystal Maiden who's got good slows and disables and global mana regen aura, which is super awesome. Phantom Assassin is, I don't know, she's an interesting late game carry. There's definitely a lot of talk about whether or not how viable she is. She can be really, really, really scary if she gets farmed and she gets lucky. Because she has to crit to deal the majority of her damage, but when she does, good lord, she can one-shot heroes, even towards the late game if she's got enough farm. And she's pretty terrifying. She's got a blink, she's got good stuff like that. I want to pause it real quick. So what we're looking at here is this group of heroes. We have our Phantom Assassin. The enemy team had picked Sniper, who's can be very scary if he gets farmed, but is really squishy and easy to gank. He doesn't have any good defense mechanisms. He can be hard to run away from because of his mini stun if he gets lucky with like headshot or whichever of his passives does that. He also has tremendous range, and if you leave him alone, he can become just a terrible force to be reckoned with. They also have a Weaver, who's also good by himself in a single lane, and is terrifying late game because of Sakuchi, which gives him invisibility. He has time lapse, which can basically regenerate all of his hit points even after a fight. He can deal tons of damage. You give him a Lincoln Sphere, he's very hard to disable. He's ferocious. Alchemist also can be really scary late game because he gets really high attack speed and regeneration. He's hard to kill. He can start off as sort of a support in the beginning of the game, and then as he levels up Greevil's Greed, his passive here, he gets extra bonus gold and base gold whenever he kills stuff, which means he can really quickly get a lot of farm, especially as he starts getting some good items. And he's got a ridiculously good stun, and Acid Spray is a shockingly powerful amount of damage over time, and it reduces armor. So Alchemist, a fairly scary hero. Undying is interesting in that he can be pretty nasty against strength-based heroes and stuff. If I remember correctly, Decay, yeah, Steal Strength. He's also good against anybody because stealing Strength means you're reducing total life points. So if he's spamming Decay on you, he can be kind of ferocious. His Tombstone ability summons lots of zombies, which is good for pushes and good distractions in team fights. Soul Rip is pretty cool little ability, and his ultimate where he turns into a giant flesh golem makes him pretty hard to kill. And so that's a pretty tanky hero right there. And Witch Doctor, we all know Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is interesting. He's a good support. Cask is pretty cool when you throw it out, especially in the middle of a team fight. It can really stun and trip up heroes, especially in the middle of animations or other things like that, which can be really frustrating. Maledict is pretty good. Gives bonus damage and other stuff, so if you can drop it on multiple heroes, that's always nice in the middle of a fight. His ulti is really, really nasty if you don't stun him during it. It's a lot of damage very fast. And Voodoo Restoration's a nice little heal. So these are good all-around drafts on the bottom. So we're trying to figure out what do we do against that. And out of the pool that was left, we figured we weren't really sure what to do. Do we have a mid-hero? Like we don't really have a mid-hero in this lineup, like a traditional mid-hero, as you can see. They're almost certainly going to put the sniper mid. We decided to go with a Juggernaut because I threw out that I'm pretty good at playing Juggernaut, and we wanted another sort of carry-esque hero, and we needed another support. So we ended up picking the Jakiro instead of the Witch Doctor was one of the ones we had suggested. And this turned out to be a really good idea because Ice Path, if you have a good Jakiro, Ice Path is really nice because it can disable multiple guys at once for a pretty solid duration, and it can deal some damage. And you can drop things like Liquid Fire and Macro Pyre and Dual Breath and other stuff to just drop damage in a team fight. Okay, fine. So here's our two lineups. Kind of interesting. The initial part of this game was kind of fascinating because we weren't... speed up for you. So we weren't totally sure where to lane people. So I'm going to go ahead and select my character here. So I'm still playing the Juggernaut. So we've got some interesting stuff. I'm trying to figure out what to buy. I'm not sure exactly which ones I want to go with, like what items are the best for my starting build, because I also wasn't sure what lane I was going to be in. They had talked about going, as you'll see momentarily, we were trying to figure out who was going to be laning where. I knew that Jakiro and the PA were probably going to be in one of the lanes because we want the support with the PA, because the PA needs tons of farm. We could have conceivably done a tri-lane.
30 seconds to showtime.
Jakiro, Crystal Maiden, and the PA probably up in the top or safe lane, and put the Bounty Hunter down here, and then maybe have me mid. That was kind of what I was thinking. What ends up happening, however, is... I'm going to go ahead and go to free camera here. What ends up happening, however, is that we kind of had these back and forth discussions about where to send people. They wanted to send the Crystal Maiden mid.
The game is on.
And Crystal Maiden mid is... Well, I've never seen a Crystal Maiden mid before, so I wasn't sure if that was a viable build. I was kind of worried about it, especially since if that sent me and Bounty Hunter to the top lane, like we both need experience. Him, I think, a little more than a Juggernaut. We both need farm, so it's like, are we going to be competing? We're both melee heroes. Like I was a little concerned. It ended up not working out that badly, actually. The Crystal Maiden starts off with her Crystal Nova, pretty solid. We had double damage on the Weaver right away, and he probably could have killed Crystal Maiden, or at least dealt her a ton of damage if he decided to be real gutsy here. But he kind of hung back and let Crystal Maiden do her thing. Up in the top lane, we eventually arrive, and we've got the Alchemist and the Sniper.
Juggernaut!
Here's me dropping my little Juggernaut stuff, just getting some damage on these guys, and then running back. Taking tower hits. I take a lot of tower hits. I probably take way too many tower hits in this game, to be honest with you, to be truly efficient. But that was me just trying to scare them back a little bit. Might not have been the best idea because ultimately, like, our lane was pushed pretty close to their tower almost the whole time. Now that gave us good access to the side shop, which was nice. Pardon me. You can see Bounty Hunter over there waiting for his thing to come on cooldown. You know, he started off with Shadow Walk and was trying to get some damage out. Alchemist drops his stun. I wasn't ready to go in. I didn't have enough mana for my Blade Fury, so we weren't able to get a kill there, which might have given us first blood. Okay, fine. So we're doing the farm thing. You know, I'm skilling up. What I like to do on Juggernaut is skill Blade Fury and Healing Ward. I believe I put Blade Dance as my passive on level 3 or level 4 instead of just maxing Healing Ward. But I maxed Blade Fury first and then went straight for Omni Slash. And the reason I wanted to get at least a rank in Healing Ward, as you can see, I mean, it's super good. It's a lot of healing. Here we go. Alchemist thought he would be cute and try to stun me, and first blood goes to the Bounty Hunter. So we scare him out of the lane
Bag and
with a nice little combo there from us, and a sniper has to run back. He's probably not even within experience range at this point. So we pretty much have a good grip on our top lane. And the reason I like to go, back to what I was saying, the reason I like to go Healing Ward and Spin is super awesome. It renders you immune to magic and it deals damage to nearby units. It's pretty solid amount of damage over time. It lasts 5 seconds. It's got a long ass cooldown that doesn't really scale like super well, but I mean, you know, getting 6 seconds less on the cooldown is really good. The raise doesn't change much, but really what you're doing is you're just getting damage buff. The other nice thing about it is that the mana stays constant. Like, it doesn't increase in mana cost as it goes. And the magic immunity is the real thing that makes it scary. So if you're about, like, especially against the Alchemist, you know, when Alchemist does his stun thing, you can hear it, like, cooking. I forget whether or not in-game, as you're playing, you can see little numbers over his head. But, you know, because if Alchemist doesn't drop his stun within the right amount of time, it will actually bounce back and hit him. So yeah, as you can see, like, he did a 5 second there, he had 5 seconds left. The longer he holds it, the longer the stun lasts, but the more likely it is that he holds it too long and it blows up in his face and stuns him. Well, that's a magic stun, so if I'm in Spin, before or right as he throws it, it just bounces off of me and doesn't do anything, and then I can run in and deal him damage. Healing Ward gives you a percentage of your hit points back every second, and it lasts a decent amount of times. Lasts 25 seconds, which means you can get at, you know, max level, not even, at rank 3, that's 100% of your hit points, and at rank 4, it's better than 100% of your hit points. Even if you're taking damage within that duration, you're going to be able to skill up, or heal up quite a bit.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
Deny from the sniper there. Honestly, this Weaver is not having a good time. Another spin on the sniper, and we decide not to push in there, which is good. Like, we're not quite ready to dive just yet. Okay, fine. Our Bounty Hunter's leveling up Juggernaut. His passive, he's leveling up getting a rank in Shuriken and Shadow Walk. If I remember correctly, the best thing with Bounty Hunters, you want to level Shuriken, and you want to level Juggernaut before Shadow Walk. Our Alchemist has dropped an Acid Spray and is trying to hit me with his stun, and I don't give a fuck because I'm spinning, so boom, we get a kill, but his stun goes off right before we get a kill and stuns both of us. We might have been able to get him a little earlier if we'd been faster on the draw and prevent the stun and that magic damage, which would have been a little more efficient, but hey. I've also got coming my Soul Ring. Okay, so here's the build I went with this guy. I started off initially with, I think, a Slippers of Agility and
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
Stout Shield, because I knew I was, as well as regen items. I think I had Standard Tango and a Salve. And the reason I did that, I might have even bought a Clarity. But the reason I did that is because I was going to be in melee and lane, and a Stout Shield's really good for melee because it blocks up to 20 damage from melee attack or 10 damage from a range attack. It's got a 60% block chance. I forget whether or not
Juggernaut!
All of them. Let's find out. So the Stout should, yeah, 60% block chance. Okay, fine. So you have a 60% chance every time something hits you of blocking either 20 damage if it's melee or 10 damage if it's ranged, and at early levels that's pretty good. So our Bounty Hunter here is going after the sniper and was really close to killing him. I think he gets the kill anyway.
Somebody's cooking.
Very nice. So our sniper solo, or our bounty hunter solo kills a sniper while I'm up here farming.
Haste.
Anyway, I
Radiant's
upgraded
top
the stout
tower is
shield.
taking hits.
I upgraded my stout shield to a poor man's shield, and the reason I did that is for the bonus agility. It's a nice way to get some early agility, which helps.
Somebody's on a roll. 2 down.
You know, with whoop. Now, bot
Side mana.
the witch doctor's having a good time, so our bounty hunter comes down here to try to make something happen. And let's go back and take a look at that, because I'm actually pretty curious as to what just happened there. Rewind very slowly. Let's actually come back a bit. Okay, so here we are on the bottom lane while we're up top. We can see that the alchemist... Yeah, this is before bounty hunter goes on the sniper, right? So the alchemist, or the weaver came up to try to do something and wasn't able to make anything happen. Witch doctor's running around over here. The alchemist has gone to the bottom lane. Alright, so here they go. They're trying to go in on these two heroes. Jakiro drops an ice pad, doesn't hit anybody. They're farming up. The witch doctor's coming. They drop an acid spray drop from the alchemist. The witch doctor's looping around here, so these two back a little bit. Now, alchemist is level 4. The undying is level 5. The witch doctor, as we will see, is level 4.
Going for broke.
We have our sniper just get his kill solo on the, bounty hunter gets a kill solo on the sniper. So here's the alchemist. All right, we drop an ice path, but
Radiant's
the
top
alchemist is able
tower's
to get both of them with the stun. They drop an acid spray. Maledict comes out. Cast goes out. We get boom, Maledict, and just a couple right clicks. And
Somebody's on a
double kill
roll. 2
on the
down.
bottom lane. Well played by the
Run
enemy
for
team.
my grave.
Weaver even tried to roll down here, and now we're back to where we started. So here comes the bounty hunter to try to make something happen while I'm farming up on the top lane. Our crystal maiden, where the heck is our crystal maiden? Oh, she's also coming into the jungle to try to make something happen. So she drops this. We've got the radiant courier. We get Cask on the crystal maiden. They're dropping damage. She probably shouldn't be there. She gets hit with those little things. This is not looking good, but our bounty hunter is here. And is he going to be able to? No, he's not able to secure a kill, but he does allow the Crystal Maiden to escape. He drops his Shadow Walk. They're not carrying any detection. There's just a courier just sitting here. Just sitting there, man. Ah. And wait. Oh, so close. One more hit. But, so the question is, does the bounty hunter go for it? I forget if we got this courier kill. I don't think we did. 3 of them are coming back in the lane. Alright, all fine, well and good. So they're coming down here to try to add some pressure after that double kill. Right now, they're leading in kills, actually. So the enemy team's leading in kills by 2, but I think we're going to try and mix that up because we've got 4 down here on the bot lane. Alchemist goes down. Can they make anything else happen? There's nobody else down here. We've got the Undying walking back. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here on the top lane getting my farm on. So, back to my build. I like the Stout Shield because it gives you some agility, which is nice.
Radiant's mid tower could use a hand.
And I also am a big fan of Soul Ring. This is something I first saw Purge do, and I forget who he learned it from. But it's legit. It's a super legit build for Juggernaut because if you're scaling up Healing Ward, you can drop the Healing Ward like in lane even after you've had to use your soloing once or twice and really get almost all of that back. So it's kind of like free mana. It does run the risk of when you activate it, you got to be careful that that 150 damage doesn't, bring you too low so the enemies have an easy time killing you. But it gives you a lot of extra sustain in the lane, as well as some passive HP and the percentage mana regen. The percentage mana regen is quite nice when you have a Crystal Maiden, because the Crystal Maiden's giving everybody a global... we get a... Yeah. Witch Doctor thought he'd be cute, drops a Cask. I'm like, whatever, bro, I'm going to spin at you. I've got my ulti, so there we go. Ulti drops, and the question is,
line between bravery and stupidity.
nope, trying to run away.
Radiant's top
barely got
tower's
away.
in bad shape. That's 4 to
And
roll.
bounty hunter's able to get the kill. I dropped my ward to heal us
2
up,
down.
and we go ahead and clear out these creeps. We did some weird.
Radiant's
This is weird.
top tower's taking hits.
As you can see, the sniper was
The
unhappy
Dire
with that.
best do something about that bottom tower.
They've
Radiant's
also
mid
Dire's
tower
managed,
could
or
use a
Radiant managed to
hand.
push out their bottom lane.
Guess
so they're
what's
taking
happening to
tower
Dire's
damage.
bottom tower?
We also decided to stick around here to clear this lane.
Can't
And
do
then we
nothing
killed
about
the
Dire's
Dire.
structures right now.
Poor guy tried to come in. There were 2 of us down here. It wasn't happening. At this point, we've managed to scale slightly ahead in the kill, and I've got a ton of gold. Like, I'm sitting here at 1,800 gold right now. Good deal all around. And we decided to back, which is smart. Like, we don't want to be sitting here too long in between two towers. Like, we got
Radiant's
nowhere good to
top
run.
tower's in bad
Bounty
shape.
hunters running over at the sniper. There's an invisible undying. There's all kinds of guys here. Oh my god, I'm so fucked. Oh wait,
Radiant's top
spin for
tower's
the
hurting.
win. I follow the sniper.
6 in a
There's
row.
even a weaver coming, like everybody here. This is crazy. I didn't drop my thing. I get killed.
Somebody's
It's
cooking.
bad. It's no good. We're not able to secure anything. They get both of us. So that was an instance where we probably should have ran a little earlier than we did because we were sitting there in a position where we couldn't really
Trouble
escape.
brewing at Radiant's bottom
Long,
tower.
to be honest. But it also created space for our bottom lane here to go ahead and add a lot of pressure to the tower because they have 4 people sitting top
Radiant's
and a 5th
bottom
person had
tower's
to run
seen better
back. So they have
days.
5 people all coming top. Here comes Crystal Maiden to try to lead into the defense. I'm back up in 2 seconds, 1 second. Bounty Hunter's back up. I go ahead and buy my phase boots. Not being the most efficient with my money this game either, I'll just be honest. Bounty Hunter comes in Viz, and we're going to try and make some plays happen here. I'm going to keep getting some farm. My last hits were actually pretty good. I'm not the best at last hitting. I probably spun a little too early there.
Radiant's bottom
Because as
tower
you
ain't
can
a
see,
pretty
like, he
sight
hadn't
right
thrown
now.
that or started charging that thing yet. Witch
2
Doctor
down.
Ultra gets dropped, but Crystal Maiden with an
finest
awesome ice grip, or whatever her skill is called, stuns him out of it. Bounty Hunter's not looking good, but we managed to drive them away. He falls anyway to the undying zombies because and this is a mistake. I
Radiant's
should have
bottom
dropped
tower's
this
seen
way
better
earlier than I
days.
did. If I dropped my healing ward, like right after we got back to tower or a little bit past it, we probably could have saved the Bounty Hunter. And furthermore, I had my healing ward too far forward, which meant that Witch Doctor was able to really easily just hit it. Sniper gets a kill on the Crystal Maiden. I mean, this isn't looking good, but I bought Dust, so I'm able to get to this. I can see the Weaver, even though I don't have much in the way of hit points. Oh dear, this is not looking good. I get stunned again. I don't have a
Dyer's
lot of
mid
mana,
tower could use
but
a
I'm
little
over
help.
here and suddenly it's time to teleport home, and boom, I had a short TP, so I managed to escape. If that had been a longer TP, like a long cooldown, I'd have been a dead man. I think I still somehow took a piece of damage there, all the way across the map. Oh, look at that. So that was kind of an ugly fight. The early game here, as you can see, is a lot of back and forth. We're relatively even in kills. And let's take a look at the gold graph. Now, the gold graph is going in our favor by about 2,000 to 3,000 gold. But it's ticking up and down. It's not a substantial lead right now. And as the XP graph can show, we're also leading in experience. I think because we've been able to stay... Our top lane is probably a good example of that. Like all the times where Sniper had to hang back by his tower and wasn't getting experience from the creeps, and all the times Weaver wasn't hanging around down here and not getting experience. They were running around a lot and not getting as many kills as they needed to keep that experience up. Okay, fine, but neither of these are
Radiant's mid tower's
insurmountable at
getting
this
banged
point.
up.
I ended up coming... Where did I end up going? I think I went mid just then in order to try and get some creeps, and then decided to come back up here. I was deciding whether or not to try and go for that rune, decided against it, make my way up into the lane again to see if we can kill them because they're pushed forward a little bit. My ultimate's almost off cooldown. I drop the spin on the Sniper, who is basically dead at this point because I've got
That's
phase
4 in
boots.
a row.
Yeah,
His
there's a
mid tower
kill.
won't last much
I take a
longer.
hit, but I'm taking a lot of damage.
Top
It's
tower's
not
hurting
good. If anybody else had been here, but we follow that
5
up
in a row.
with
2
Nami
down.
Slash, and that's a dead
You've
alchemist.
done.
One of the things I've learned, and I got a perseverance at this point because I was going for a battle fury. It's one of the, core items as recommended by Valve, and I think they're not wrong about that. And as you can see, I skipped a wand too, which is something I probably shouldn't have
Radiant's
done.
mid tower's coming apart.
But given the lane, we weren't getting spammed with attacks that much. Poor Sniper's
6
having a
in a
bad
row.
game, man. Bad game. I wasn't getting spammed with a lot of like spells or abilities. So I wouldn't have had a lot of charges on the wand, and the +3 to all stats, whatever, it would slow me down from getting the
Radiant's
Battle Fury.
top tower's
And
in
the nice thing
bad
about the
shape.
Battle Fury is that it gives you a huge amount of damage, it gives you HP and mana regen, and it gives you cleave. And cleave makes it really
Radiant's
easy to clear
top tower
waves
is
and
taking
push.
hits.
It's also good in team fights. Like, it's just pretty ridiculous altogether. I had spun early, so the Alchemist was
Radiant
smart,
lost the
waited
top
for
tower.
my spin to be over, and then dropped his stun. I managed to run backwards. My healing ward's on super low
Dire's
cooldown,
bottom
like super
tower's
long
getting the
cooldown. This thing
business.
takes forever to come back.
No
It's a full
breaking through the
minute.
Dire's structures
So
for
you
now.
can't like constantly, you know, spam it. I decided to go back to base to heal up. Or no, I went to the bot lane.
Radiant's
I went to the
mid
bot
tower's
lane. That's
getting
right.
banged up.
So I go to bot lane because it's getting pushed in kind of bad. The Juggernaut needed some support. I figured. So I run down here.
Radiant's mid
And I'm like,
tower's
I'll
in
spin
trouble.
on this guy because I'm a man. Oh wait, this guy's got a double damage, and that's right, spin doesn't block physical damage. Like, that was really dumb. And if he'd had more attack speed or some kind
The
of
Dire
disable,
best do
like,
something about that
I
bottom
probably would have
tower.
been pretty messed up. Man, our Crystal Maiden making plays. I come in here. I got healing ward down. His ulti drops and doesn't kill me, but I've taken too much damage to stay in the fight. Here
How
comes
about
Crystal
that?
Maiden again. Bounty Hunter getting the kill. Jakiro coming in. I'm coming back. Bounty Hunter coming after this guy.
Somebody's
PA
on a
gets-
roll.
PA
Two
Bounty Hunter. We all
down.
managed to kill. That's all 5 of us down here. Securing kills, making things happen. As you can see, we're starting to pull a little bit ahead. Not a little bit, actually. Quite a bit ahead. We're over 7,500 gold ahead. We're over 7,500 experience ahead. It's looking pretty good for us. So back to me. I've already got the broadsword. I'm looking to just finish out the claymore, I believe. Yeah, in order to get my battle fury. And once I get my
Radiant's
battle
bottom
fury,
tower
I'm
ain't a
pretty
pretty
scary.
sight right now.
I've already got a pretty solid amount of damage.
Radiant's bottom tower's
Which doctor
done
decides
for.
to come down here to I don't know,
7 in a
defend?
row.
And
How about
for
that?
why? He's not much he's going to do against us by himself. So we clean him up. But we've got 2 guys coming out of the jungle at us. And my thing's still on cooldown. This is not looking good. I don't think I do well here.
8 in a
But
row.
I've got
9 in
Omni
a row.
Slash.
3 down.
And we clean it up. And then I spin. And we clean up the wave. Now here's the thing, I was not getting the best spins with regards to getting last hits, I'll be honest. Like, I probably could have gotten a lot more gold out of that. Now part of that's that we have like now 4 people down here all hitting creeps at the same time, which is, you know, meaning that my damage isn't ticking evenly as much as it could, so sometimes they're getting hits, sometimes the creeps are getting hits, whatever. I'm running backwards. Where was I going? Bounty's in the woods. We have 2 people pushing, and they really should back off. Our 2 supporters should back off, but this Jakiro man was landing some pretty slick ice paths.
Look at it go!
I went back and purchased my Battle Fury, which I probably shouldn't have done. I probably could have stayed, because this is not looking good for our team down here, and I might have been able to make something happen. Like the sniper gets a kill on the Bounty Hunter for a solid amount of gold. And now they've got like 4 heroes down here all coming after us. 5 even. Alchemist dropping his stun. He's going to get it on that guy. Oh, it's not looking good for our Jakiro.
Get!
Our Jakiro gets beautiful 4-staff from the Crystal Maiden. Not sure it's going to be enough. And Sniper nearly gets a kill. But that ice path was wonderful. I mean, he was making some really legit plays. I'm back in lane. I spin. We're going to get a kill on this Alchemist, I'm pretty sure.
Guess that's 10 in a row.
PA
2
manages to
down.
live. Weaver's down here, but I don't think I had... Oh, I didn't. I didn't have my dust anymore. We got a Battle Fury on the Bounty Hunter,
The
too.
weft is sundered.
So that might have been
This
something
was
where we probably
always crystal
both, didn't
clear.
both need Battle Fury. But I found it really helpful to me, because it was allowing me to clear
Trouble
waves and get a
brewing
lot
at
more
Radiant's
farm.
bottom tower.
But that was a pretty good fight for us all together. We're still spinning ahead. I spin again to try to clear the wave faster because we want to push in. At this point, Weaver disconnects, and we were convinced, like, we all were like, man, did he just rage quit? Because, you know, I've done it. We've all done it. Everybody's had that moment, and their team was having a pretty good early game. But as we get into mid-game, they're not looking happy. But they get a pause. There was some back and forth from both teams. We're sort of like, I don't know, man, like, you know, is he coming back? Are you sure he's coming back? Like, whatever. Spoiler alert, he ends up coming back. We drop a pause.
All right,
But yeah.
carry on.
From here, talking about my build again. So I'm going into the jungle to get some farm while the supports are pushing the lane out, and then I figure we'll all meet up down here and try to get some hits on the tower. Just keep the lanes pushing in, keep them away from our towers, which is why Bounty Hunter came top to try to push that out. Our mid lane, we've managed to crush that tower. So we're looking really good. We've got towers down, we've got map control. The one thing that's not really happening is we're not warding. Our supports aren't doing a lot in the way of wards, but they're doing okay in terms of farm. I mean, she got a Perseverance. I'm not sure what she's building that into. 4-staff is good. We went for a mech on the Jakiro, I think?
Thanks.
Maybe not. I'm not sure what he was going for. He's got Tranquils and a Vanguard for some reason, which is, you know, not a bad build, I guess. Gives him some mana and HP regen. I'm up here killing creeps in the camps. I'm carrying dust around for the Weaver because I figured, yeah, I mean, maybe a support could get that, but I'm like, well, I'm going to be the one making a lot of these kills. I'm pretty tanky. I might be in the front lines. I'm probably in a better position to drop dust. And it's an active ability as opposed to passive, like, say, sentry wards. We knew they were coming, so we decided to back off. This is probably smart. Like, we don't want to fight there. But we've got 2 of their heroes out here, and I think we decided to go in. No,
15
that's
in
right.
a row.
I Omni Slash down.
Radiant's top
Omni
tower's
Slash down the
hurting.
poor Witch Doctor. I might have been able to wait on that and get even more damage or more kills. But they came in. At this point, I was feeling pretty
Radiant's top tower's in
on
bad
form,
shape.
right? I was feeling pretty good, pretty
Going for
good.
broke.
Crystal Maiden with an
2
awesome
down.
ult, gets a double kill.
I can't
Dire's
see.
mid tower's
And
having
these guys are running away.
technical
They gotta back off. They
difficulties.
can't
Radiant's
take it.
top
They can't take it. This
tower
poor
is
Weaver's
taking
not
hits.
getting really any luck this game. He's got nothing. I mean, look at this poor bastard. Sitting on treads,
Radiant's top
agility, or
tower's
slippers of agility
hurting.
and a ring of protection at 20 minutes in. It's nothing. It's brutal. So their carry's not getting much. I decided to go for a Yasha. First, because I was
Radiant's
going to build a
mid
Sanj and
tower's
Yasha.
coming
And
apart.
the reason I was building a Sanj and Yasha is because it said situational items, Sanj and Yasha. I was like, that sounds cool. I didn't really think about it beyond that, which I should have done.
Radiant's mid tower could
What I
use a
should have
hand.
probably done was go straight for an Aghanim Scepter. And the main reason you do that, the attributes, health, and mana is all nice, but the real thing is that it does
Radiant's
crazy
mid
stuff
tower's getting banged up.
to your Omni Slash. It reduces the cooldown by a lot. A lot. And it gives you
Just try
3 extra jumps.
Radiant's mid tower
so
could use
it's
a hand.
scary good on Jug. Scary good item.
Radiant's mid tower ain't doing so good. No idea how many that was. How about that?
I'm having a good game, as you guys can see. Like, I'm making kills happen. I'm dropping healing wards. I have definitely not been as efficient with my healing wards as I could have been. And a lot of how good I'm doing this game
Who
really
knows
is
how
because
many
of
that
having
was?
a lot of
2
good
down.
help from our supports. Good ice paths, good slows, good stuns and disables, the mana regen, all that good stuff has been very helpful. And I'm trying to run away at this point because I'm like, oh my god, there's like a million things all hitting me right now. And we've got, boom, sniper headshot. See, I should have backed off there. And I think this is actually one of those moments where we really pushed way further than we should have. Way further, because they managed to get a number of kills on us. I think the PA might die here as well. She doesn't really have much either, to be honest. She's got a Vanguard. We had a lot of people on our team go Vanguard. Is it Crystal Maiden go Vanguard? No. Yeah, 2 people go Vanguard. But, oh wow. Yeah, look at that. She survives. Bounty Hunter comes in, drops the cask, and is going to get away. The Witch Doctor's going to get away. Bounty Hunter's going to shadow walk after
Guess
anyway,
what's
man.
happening
Guy's
to
baller.
Dire's bottom
Wants to make
tower.
plays. Wants to game pretty hard. Let's see if he can make something happen. Meanwhile, I'm dead. So I'm like, well, crap, what am I going to do? I'm working on my Sanj and Yasha. Now, the Sanj and Yasha is
Dire's
a pretty
bottom
good item.
tower's getting
Gives
the
you strength,
business.
gives you damage, gives you agility, gives you attack speed, gives you movement speed, gives you a chance to maim, and a chance to slow.
The
All right, so
Dire
the main
best do
chance
something about that
is
bottom
16%.
tower. The
And if
Dire
you
went
get
and
it,
fortified
it's a
their
30%
structures.
slow. That's pretty good, all things considered. Where am I? I'm down
The
here
Dire
pushing out the
gave
lane.
up
That's
the
right.
bottom
I wanted
tower.
to save this tower. This tower was
The
really
Dire might
low.
want
I
to mine
came
their
back
top tower.
maybe a second too late to really save it because the catapult was able to finish the damage. But I get enough gold
Dire's
from this,
top
I finished my
tower's
Sanj
getting
and
beat
Yasha.
down.
And at that point, I was thinking to myself, or similar, shortly after this, I was like, oh right, isn't Aghanim Scepter really good on this guy? So I started building to an Aghanim Scepter next. As you can see, I am not tanky like at all. The nice thing about the Sanj and Yasha, that 16 strength will give me a lot of hit points, which is pretty nice, actually, because of how kind of frail I'm at. I'm sitting here level 16, 23 minutes into the game. I've only got 1,100 hit points. If they had had any real burst damage on their team,
Radiant's
this would have
bottom
been
tower
scary.
ain't a pretty
But all that
sight
happened
right
is
now.
Sniper's got a Shadow Blade, and Weaver's got nothing. He's got a Mithril Hammer. Like, there's not
Somebody's
enough burst
Radiant's
damage.
top tower's in bad
More
shape.
fights happening.
One less
Getting all
top
kinds of
tower
kills
for the
down there.
Radiant.
And this is probably a moment where I really should have been with my team instead of pushing out this lane. Like, I was not accomplishing a whole heck of a lot. I ended up going back to base to heal up and then running back
Dire's
mid.
mid tower's having
try to defend.
technical difficulties.
And these are the weird decision-making things that I'm trying to get a grip on. Like, when do you try to push out and split push? When do you fight with your team? When do you farm jungle or ancients? Like, what's the appropriate time? I go ahead and drop my
The
spin.
Dire couldn't hang on to that
Nice
mid
and a little
tower.
early again.
Fancy beating
But
you here.
I've got,
Bend
yeah,
my
Omni Slash on cooldown. I immediately kill
meet
the Witch
Jug.
Doctor. But again, that was another time where I almost certainly should have waited or triggered it earlier so I could have gotten the Omni Slashes on these guys and maybe gotten more than one kill or allowed the team to pick up some kills. So as good a game as I'm having, I'm definitely not making great decisions. I'm kind of being a little hesitant sometimes or picking the wrong times to drop certain abilities. Get hit here and I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to sit here. I'm not scared of you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and hit more creeps and then back off slowly. Meanwhile, we have our bounty hunter up here pushing things off. He's tracked the Undying. He's running around. He's going after the Weaver. We're trying to push out the lanes. And now that Weaver is fucked. I mean, he tried to run away. He Sakuchi's away. I didn't have dust at this point, unfortunately. But here he came back in. I don't know why he came back in. Here comes Witch Doctor. I'm like, I'm just going to kill the Witch Doctor, but I get stunned. It doesn't matter. I've got
2 down.
sniper hits,
5 in a
and
row.
I'm down.
2
But
down.
my healing ward was dropped, and that was an instance where I definitely should have dropped healing ward way earlier. Like, if I had dropped the healing ward earlier in that fight, because I forgot to do it. We can rewind a little bit and take a look at that, actually. So that fight was about a minute back. Alright, so here we are. There's this fight coming up here. We'll skip forward real fast.
Some
We all know
Radiant's
what
top
happened. The
tower's
sniper's
taking
getting two
hits.
kills.
The Radiant got
It's
one
allowed
less
him to
top tower.
get not a whole lot, frankly. I mean, God, they don't have like anything on their team.
Dire's mid tower
As you
won't
can
last
see, like
much
we've got a
longer.
15,000 gold lead and a 20,000 experience lead. Like they're able to make
Dire's
plays happen, but a
mid-tower's
lot of that's
nothing
because of poor
now.
decision making on our part more than anything else. They're just so far behind, but they've also got a really scary team. Like they legitimately have a pretty scary team. They've got good disables, they've got good damage. They're able to make some stuff happen. Well, at this point, here's the part, getting close to the part where I wanted to watch again. So our bounty hunter comes in. Here's the Weaver. Okay.
Fury!
Now what I wanted to do there, because I knew the Weaver was in the woods, is I wanted to go in there and sit on him with the spin. I was not able to do so because I got blocked by the thing. Alright, and here's the other problem with that. Since I went in with the spin early, and then I didn't have the spin, and like
2
right
down.
here, so
5
I
in a
dropped
row.
my
2
healing
down.
ward. Let's come back a little bit. We'll watch this in reverse. Actually, that's just slowing it down. I dropped my healing ward.
Dire's mid tower could
This happens so quick. So quick. Alright, so here we go. Here comes the Weaver. Let's take a look at this in slow motion. And you know what? Let's take it. Can I do that? Oh, here's the buyback status. Okay. Game stats. Yeah. So, here is...
Fury!
I drop spin because I see the Weaver come in here. I decide to back around and try to come in, but I'm misclicking and going all over the place and getting no damage. This spin was terrible. I got no damage on the Weaver. I got no damage on anybody. I got like, there it is. Like 2 or 3 spin hits on this Weaver before the Weaver Sakuchi's back out and escapes. Now I don't have spin for 20 seconds. 20 seconds, and we're outside their base and their whole team is coming. Well, Undying comes in and dies like immediately to the bounty hunter. Look at that, poor bastard. Just dies instantly to our bounty hunter here, who still doesn't have upgraded boots, but has gotten a morbid mass, so we get some lifesteal. Okay, fine. I should, seeing this, should have immediately
look at
dropped
it go.
my healing ward. Instead, the cast comes out, bounces, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Witch Doctor ult comes down. I'm taking tons of damage from the Witch Doctor ult because I'm stunned briefly. And here comes the Alchemist stun. I get a huge hit on the Witch Doctor, but no, it's not enough. More stuns. Ice Path comes down, but I'm close enough. See, if I'd had Healing Ward ticking that whole time, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh crap, I really should drop Healing Ward. We've all taken a lot of damage.
That's
And I
2
dropped
down.
literally before, right before the sniper is able to get that headshot off on me. Wow.
5 in a row. 2 down.
So if I'd had that down earlier, I might have survived. Almost certainly would have survived, or at least been able to get an extra kill or some more damage in before. And if I'd waited to spin until we were either sure I could hit the Weaver, or we were in the middle of a fight, would have been way better for us. Like, we probably could have killed all of them, or at the very least not lost 2 of us, right? The Crystal and myself. And I'm down for a while at this point. Like, this isn't good. That being said, the healing ward I did manage to drop pretty much full heals the team, which is great because, as you can see, our mech was on cooldown, and Jakiro was a little bit low on mana. So this gave our team a chance to kind of get their HP back. We're pushing up on the tower, but it's scary. I mean, Bounty Hunter gets killed here. You know, our Phantom Assassin, I think, nearly gets killed here, but there's another totally awesome Ice Path. I mean, these guys were just running out in lines, and our Jakiro's like, all right, you want to be in a line? Kaboom! I'm going to go ahead and Ice Path you. And it gave our PA a chance to escape. Then these guys had to back off. They try to push the lane in.
Guess what's happening to Dire's bottom tower?
And we're taking more tower damage down here. So I come in to try and push out this wave again. Our gold earned is still sitting above 15,000, but as you can see, it's tapered off a little bit because we're losing kills, right? Our experience is also tapered off. So we're not still spiked ahead, but we're still so far ahead. That's going to be very, very hard for this team to do anything about it. I come down here to push out the lane, decide, you know what, I don't want to push, I should kind of sit. And I was like, well, I'll farm the Ancients while I'm here. I probably didn't need to farm the Ancients right here. I mean, I can kill them pretty quick, but not that quick, and these guys are all pushing up our mid lane. And it probably would have been smarter for me to kind of come in and be with the team. On the other hand, since I killed them all, their team has decided to push in.
Getting beat down.
I was going to move in to try to get a surround. They backed off, figuring there were too many of us here to fight, and they're probably right.
Dire's lost the top tower.
Our top tower gets pushed down by creeps.
Looks like it's just you and me.
And I Omni-Slash a freaking illusion. Undying had an illusion rune. I wasn't paying attention. He sent an illusion in. I Omni-Slash it and totally waste my ulti. At this point, I'm like, I had bought a gem. That's right, I forgot I bought gem before I bought Aghanim's. Because I was like, well, you know what? I'm not dying that much. Or I guess I was dying a ton. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to buy a gem. I think my idea was to give it to somebody. But I'm going to die here. If I remember correctly, I die here, I die soon. Another good ult from the Crystal Maiden. I managed to survive. I dropped the healing ward. I probably should have brought it back, to be honest with me, so I could have gotten more heals out of it, because I didn't really get too much out of it. But I get some health back from the healing ward. We kill the Undying Grave Tombstone thing, and now we're thinking about pushing. And the reason I have gem right now, guys, is because I figured, you know, the Weaver keeps trying to escape with Shikuchi. We got a Shadow Blade on Sniper, although I don't think I knew that when I was playing. Like, I never clicked on Sniper, and that's something I need to work on doing too. It's really, really important to click on enemy heroes, especially those in your lane, or just in general, to get a sense of what items they have or what items they're building. It can give you a, let's say,
Radiant's mid-ranks taking some punishment.
If you know they have wards on their person, you know that they either haven't warded yet or they're going to soon. So you can kind of keep an eye on it and figure out where they have vision.
Mid-ranks didn't make
Our PA jumps in there like a champ and just gets slaughtered.
Do something about
I'm like, well, I should probably back off because there's like a million things coming at me and my spin is off cooldown. And I'm like, oh, spin. Try to keep that cast from hitting me. That was a good spin. Our Jakiro sacrifices his life. I'm like, I can go back in. No, I can't. Running away.
Radiant's mid-ranks.
My Omni-Slash is coming back off cooldown, and I'm like, hey, it's Omni-Slash time. Guess who's gonna die? Everybody.
Going for broke.
I think at this point, the Undying kills me. Yes, he does. And then he gets a Gem of True Sight. I remember pinging. I was pinging so hard. And the Crystal Maiden was just either didn't see it or had to back off because she was worried about dying. And to be honest, getting Gem back is not worth her dying, especially if she died and, you know, just fed in the gem again. So that was probably a smart play by her, although I remember being a little incensed. I was like, oh no, I lost the gem. Okay, fine. At this point, I'm sitting at 4,000 gold.
Might want to mine
and I'm like,
the top tower.
I wonder what I should do with 4,000 gold. Oh, maybe I'll buy an Aghanim's. Our Weaver's finally, at 30 minutes, managed to get a Desolator, his only item after treads. This is an unhappy Weaver. We've got a Crystallis sitting here on the Sniper, which is okay. Critical damage is good on Sniper, but his base damage isn't that crazy. His attack speed, I mean, he's not bad with Shadow Blade. I mean, it's not, Chrysalis isn't a bad way to go, but he might have wanted something like potentially a BKB. The Weaver might have wanted something like a BKB, although they do need damage. It's kind of, they're in a tricky position because it's like, well, where do we go? How do we prevent ourselves from getting locked down by Crystal Maiden and Ice Paths and all this other good stuff? Or even me, like, spin is magic damage. So you activate BKB, my spin doesn't do crap to you. Anyway, we're pushing out the top lane here. I'm back alive, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting to work towards my Aghanim Scepter. I'm pretty sure I sent the Crow down to get, yes, I already have my point booster on the Crow, and I'm like, all right, I just need a little bit of farm so I can get, there it is. A little bit of farm gets me enough to get my last
Double
thing for
damage.
Aghanims. Crystal Maiden grabs a double damage rune, because okay. She's also got an Aghanims and a Force Staff, like, and a Perseverance and a Null Scepter. It's an interesting, or Null Talisman, it's an interesting build. Usually I would go Yules and Force Staff, not necessarily Aghanims, but she's fed to the point. It's like, why not go Aghanims and get the extra bonus? I mean, that's a huge amount of slow. And we've got our mech, and I'm not sure what he's building to with a Void Stone and a point booster. Anyway, I'm like, I'll come down here and push this lane out a little bit. Okay, fine. Let's just look at my player perspective for a bit. I run back to lane because I want to get my Aghanim Scepter. So now I've got Ag Scepter. So now I've got a cooldown of 70 seconds. I've got 12 jumps on the Omni Slash, which is pretty ridiculous. Between 175 to 200 damage a shot. I mean, that's just a ton of damage. That's, geez, at minimum, over 250 damage. Well, let's say we call it 200 damage a jump at 12 times. It's like, oh, at minimum 2,000 damage or more? Yeah, that's a lot. You get that to one hero, you're pretty much going to kill any hero you put that on. And you put that to a team, that's a lot of damage to the enemy team. Now I'm like, oh, you know what I should do before we start fighting? I should bring up a healing port. So I do this time. I get stunned a couple of times. I drop spin to prevent more stuns. I jump right in on the sniper. Omni slash the sniper down just to get rid of him. And then I man fight the alchemist. You can't stand up to me because I've got just a ton of damage on this crit. 35% crit chance and 200% damage. This is why you don't go crit weapons on the Juggernaut. You don't need them. Your passive does it for you.
The Radiant lost the top tower.
And at this point, we Rax and win the game. They got 4 of them out. We were disconnected again, and we were wondering if this time it was actually him.
Rax is gone now.
If this time it was actually him rage furying, which is why I asked if they wanted to pause.
Top Rax.
I don't know. That might have come across as kind of arrogant, especially since the game is basically over at this point. This guy was probably pissed at me for saying it, but I was honestly sort of like, well, I don't know. Like, you might be able to make some plays happen, get a kill or two on the Weaver, and have a little bit of fun at the end of the game. I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to bring it back, but they decided not to go for a pause, and we just clear out a bunch of stuff. And I'm pretty sure we didn't even bother going for bottom racks, because why bother? Like, just clear out the base and take the throne. I come in on the Alchemist, he runs back in, I get cast. I spin inside the throne because YOLO. I got a kill on the sniper.
That's 4 in a row. 2 down.
I Omni Slash down the Alchemist and then run away. And then I'm like, oh, I can go for bottom racks. I'm like, why go for bottom racks? Let me run, drop Healing Ward, and then we just finish it up and win the game. And that's basically it.
No
Push the lane
breaking down
in,
the Radiant structures.
take
Like
out
Radiant's
buildings,
mid-towers
take
coming
out
apart.
kill
Somebody's
that
up
guy.
against Radiant's mid-towers.
The Weaver did actually come back in.
Now that's
Travel.
Radiant's mid-tower. Safe forward now.
There we
Need to be in
are.
their shoes. Radiant's ancient. The
That's
Dire
game.
won this time.
So there you have it, guys. We ended up winning this game in 35 minutes, just under 35 minutes, with 54 kills, our bounty hunter dying right at the end, and us nearly having almost totally team wiped them right at the very end. A pretty good game for me altogether, I must say. I came out pretty well. I had a ton of gold at the end. I had the highest XP per minute by a long shot, actually. Highest gold per minute by a while. Like, I was definitely doing real well. Tons of last hits, carrying the team. And as you can see, I mean, these guys had like no last hits. They had really low gold. They were just having a real tough time. And there's not much you can do. And the funny thing about it, too, is that Butters, Kenny, Stan, and Fionor RS were actually all in a party together. And none of us on this team were. Or maybe 2 people were. So, But that's the game. That's me playing Juggernaut. If you guys have any questions, comments, tips, anything you think I did wrong or think I could do better, put them in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time with Jandor plays Dota 2 in our Learnin the Ropes series. And I think my next game is probably going to be an Ogre Magi game because I wanted to review that one as well. Until then, take it easy, everybody.